Welcome to another session of Torah Nuggets. This week is Parashat Vayetze. May the Torah be to the refuah shelama of Avraham ben Zohara. Something very interesting of the number 14 and education. We know that Yaakov at the age of 63 is instructed by his parents to go and find a wife. Yitzhak and Rivka tell Yaakov, go to Bet Lavan and marry one of his daughters. On the way there, he takes a little bit of an exit and goes to the Yeshiva of Shem and over there he learns for 14 years. Chazal tell us that he stayed up learning for 14 years, and the first time that he slept was in this week's parasha when it says Vayidlin Sham. And a big question is, if your parents are sending you to go get your zivug, why are you going to the yeshiva for 14 years? So the Midrash says that Yaakov Avinu knew that he's going to the house of Lavan. The house of Lavan is a place where Lavan Arami is Lavan Aramai. He's a crook, he's a liar, he's a thief. The people of Haran are crooked as well. And in order to survive in that toxic environment, you need a special kind of Torah. You need a special type of education to survive that type of environment. So Yaakov Avinu goes to Shem and Ever. Why? Because in the Yeshiva of Shem and Ever, you have Shem, who is the son of Noach, and Ever, who is his grandson, who survived the generations of Dora Mabul and Dora Palagam, the generation of the flood and the generation of dispersion, evil generations, and they made it out. So Yaakov Avinu says, if they survived evil and dangerous environments, I'm going to go to a similar environment. I need protection. So Shem and Ever passed on to Yaakov the Torah that's going to protect him while he is in the house of Lavan. During that time, we know that once he left, Yaakov Avinu was going to meet his evil twin brother Esav, who wanted to kill him. And one of the messages that was given to Esav is Bebet Lavan garti v'tariyag mitzvot shamarti. Im Lavan garti v'tariyag mitzvot shamarti. Rashi brings it over there that one of the messages that Yaakov wanted to know, that I was in a toxic environment, but I'm still the holy Yaakov. I'm still the one that's holding on to my Yiddishkeit. Now, very interesting. Later on, this 14-year education comes back again when Yaakov is now away from the house of Lavan, not living with his brother Esav, but on his own with his family. And Yosef, at the age of 3, begins to learn with his father. And for 14 years, he learns the Torah that Yaakov learned with Shem and Ever in the Yeshiva of Shem and Ever, and he passed it on to him. And not by chance, but by design, at the age of 17, when Yosef gets sold by his brothers, he has the 14 years of learning that were passed on to him from Yaakov, from the learning that saves a person from the toxic environment that he's living in, which is a perfect learning, because as Yosef is now going to Egypt, he is right now in Ahvat Haaretz. He's in the most, it says, the Gemara brings it about Mitzrayim, the Tesha Kabin Shel Tum'ah, that 90% of the world's Tum'ah was in that region. So how does one Jew thrive, succeed, stay holy in the house of in the country of Egypt with a little bit of and being the only Jew over there? It was the 14 years of education that Yaakov passed on to him. As we know that when Eshet Potifar tried to make advances at Yosef, Dukuno shel Yaakov, it says that the face of Yaakov showed up to him. He says, don't forget our learning. And we know that when he ran away from Eshet Potifar, later on, it actually stood for him as a merit. Because after Yosef's path, and even when, we'll add one more thing even, and even when Yosef finally revealed to his brothers his identity and said, send these gifts to my father, Chazal tell us, Rashi also mentions it on the spot, that the chariots that he sent and what they were filled with, the grisim and pilpelim. It says, why was that? To show him that he's still holding his girza, he's still holding his pilpulim, he's still holding into his learning, he's still all the back and forth that he used to do with his father, he's still holding on to it. He was hinting to it in the items that were sent to his father as a gift before he came down to Egypt. But even more so, even after the passing of Yaakov and all the 12 tribes, when the time came for the Jewish people to leave Egypt, and they got in front of Yam Suf, and all of a sudden the Jewish people are in peril. They look to the left, they look to the right, behind them, everywhere they go, it's a danger zone. And it says over there, right before the splitting of the sea, Vayar Yisrael et hayad hagedola asher asa Hashem leYisrael b'Mitzrayim. And what is Vayar, this pasuk, Vayar Yisrael et hayad hagedola? Chazal tell us, Israel, Yaakov Avinu, was at that moment of Yetziat Mitzrayim. And he sees this great thing that's happening for his people, for his children, that the sea is about to split for them. But in the merit of who? In the merit of the 14 years of education. Vayar Yisrael, and Yaakov Avinu saw et hayad hagedola. The Yud Dalet is 14. Hagedola, the 14 years of education, that because he passed it on to Yosef, and Yosef did not sin from when Eshet Potifar. Vayam nas mizeh shenas, and the sea split, ran away from the one that ran away. And in the merit of Yosef, that held on to his Jewish education while he was in Egypt, the sea split for him. From the 14 years of education, the sea split. From here we see the importance of Jewish education. From here we see how we need to invest in our children's education, especially the beginning years. The Girsa de Yankuta, as it's called, it has an unbelievable effect on the children. The Torah that they learn at a young age, it serves them well when they become older. You plant the seed, later on you see the fruit. And even when we live in the diaspora, or anywhere in the world where education or Jewish education is costly, and maybe there's long hours, and maybe there's other routes that are much easier and much cheaper. But if there's one thing that we have to invest in, it's the children's education with all our might, with all our hearts, with all our efforts, because it's that Jewish education that's going to serve them till the end of days. Shabbat Shalom V'Rach.